Hello guys!
In this new tutorial we will explore how to use the Avascot shader with Proximus plugin Odyssey for real-time fur look development.
Make sure you have imported the latest update of the shader into your project.
And follow the first tutorial which explains each detail of the shader.
Next, download the free Odyssey plugin and activate it in your Real Engine 5 project. Let's begin. In your lighting scene, import your mesh. Also, make sure your model has proper UVs. So first we will need to create a base material to paint our mesh. This new material will be used to store the different texture we are going to paint later. Here I'm creating multiple texture parameters. These are just placeholders that will later be used to reference each texture. We then create a texture. We can do it directly from the Odyssey tab. And we can set the size and as well the name. And after we create a material instance of the master material. And we can assign the texture in the first input. We then assign the material instance to the mesh, we select it, and here we click Odyssey. All these windows will appear, and if we go in this tab, we can see that there is already the mask we created selected. That's great. So if we go in the paint mode, if we select a color, we can already paint on the mesh. One current limitation of this tool is that if you paint one line and you cross a UV seams, so here this line in the UVs is separated, the brush stroke is going to stop. Here you can change the size of the brush, and here you can select other kind of brushes. Here I create additional textures and assign them to the material instance. Now they will appear in the Odyssey plugin, ready to be painted. Just remember to refresh the plugin if you don't see them in the list. So here I imported the character Grooms on the scene and assigned to it a default Avascot shader. If you see in the outliner, I have the same mesh duplicated. That's because while I'm editing the mask, I don't want to see the actual painting, but I want to see the skin shader. For this reason, I will hide the mesh with the paint texture attached. Here I open the Groom shader instance, and the first area I will focus on is the one corresponding to the red fur. So we go in the base section, in the base color, we are going to match a similar color to the reference. We're going to add a soft variation to this color. So if we just zoom a bit, we can see that we can raise this slider and we're going to have darker hair. And if you raise this one, we're going to have lighter hair. This is great to add an initial variation. After that I want to add some variation on the root color. So I'm going to set the brightness to a darker value. And I'm going to choose here the position. And here I can choose the contrast of the transition. Here I want to add some major fibers variation. In this case, I'm going to raise the brightness and create some white hair. And I'm going to also lower the saturation, so they're going to be full white. Nice. And here, I'm going to just tweak the saturation, the overall saturation, and lower a bit the brightness. So now we will add this nice black fur, and for this we will need to create a new area. You can see that there is a new checkbox here that is packet mask. I just added in this new update that let you add different texture for each area. Because before, in the previous version, it was only possible to paint this different mask using one single texture, painting in the different red, green, blue or alpha channel. But as we are now using the Odyssey plugin, this new update was needed, and we are able to assign different texture to each mask. Of course, you can use this feature even if you don't use the plugin. So for now we disable all this area because we don't need them at the moment. And in this new area, mask, we are going to assign the mask 01 that we created. So you can see I left some paint before, and we can see already there is some effects. To control this mask, of course, we can go in the new inputs here, the 02, and we can change the color. So we can assign for now just a funny color to test the painting feature of Odyssey. So if we go here, you can see we can already paint. That's really cool. So for now, I'm going just to paint black. So I'm going to take this nice slider and I'm going to set it in a really small window, because we are going to need just the value, this value here, because we are going to paint only mask. You can paint color, but in this workflow we are going to use only black and white mask. Nice. So if you see, if we paint black, we remove the mask. If we paint white, we are going to paint the area of the area 02, the color of the area 02. But the cool things, as we are using the probability feature, you see that if we paint a mid-gray value, we are going to have some hair of the area 01 and some hair of the area 02. So if we paint, for example, with a darker value, we are going to have more hair of the area 01. If we raise the brightness, so we get closer to white, we can have different hair. And if you see, they are just single separate hair. There is no blend on them. And this creates a really nice contrast that will make your groom much more realistic. If we disable the probability feature, we go back in the blend mode. And you can see here that you can blend the color. So now it's not picking single fibers, but it's just blending the two colors. So depending the kind of groom or hair you're doing, you can check or uncheck this nice feature. So let's start to paint the mask in the proper position. I'm going to select a brighter value. And of course I don't want this color, but I want a darker color. Now that we have drafted the mask, we can refine it and explore this nice set of brushes. I'm starting to add different gray values, which will create smooth variation and transition. So that looks good as first pass. Now it's time to focus on the area with the white hair. So I create here a mask, I assign it to the paint texture slot 02 of the paint material, and as well I activate the area 3 and assign this texture in the area mask 3. After that I'm going to, in this section here, and I had to exit just a second from Odyssey, and the moment I'm back I see the texture here, and if now I paint we can see the new mask activated. So I'm going to select a brighter value, this kind of white. I'm going to refine it in the moment we activate the mask, and we can do that now by painting white. Now we can switch between the two masks and start refining them. Here I'm using the greasy chalk brush to paint small details. Let's check another feature of the shader. As you can see, there is a lot of nice color variation inside each area, with some parts brighter and other more saturated. We can use the color mask section to recreate that look. Just create another mask and assign it to the first input. After that, you will be able to tweak the color without affecting the other main areas. You can assign up to 4 different color variation masks for each area. Okay, I think that's it for now. This first pass was done in just 10 minutes and already looks great. Of course, it can still be improved. I hope you enjoyed the workflow and feel free to share your Groom work in our Discord channel. See you soon!